Yo, what do you think when you hear the name DJ Chris G here in Rochester, New York?
Straight from the underground.
What do you think when you hear the name DJ Chris G?
Chris G, that's my guy right there, man. He's been putting out local music for a minute, man. He's been on the radio, man. A lot of local artists, man, they look forward to listening to their song on the radio, and Chris G, he's gonna be the one to put it out there. He's the one that's gonna put your music out there so you can hear it. You know, so a lot of love and respect to Chris G, man. That's that boy, man. That's my guy.
ROCpodcasts.com.
Yo, this is Small D. Word up, baby. Queensbridge full effect.
Yo, this is Big DS, the regulator.
All right.
This is Sticky Fingers.
Fredro Star. And we just speaking for the people of the United States Ghetto, which is the USG.
This is Simeon Ontario. I'm here with DJ Chris G from Straight from the Underground 2.0.
Yes.
He's been in Rochester doing this for years and years. So if y'all don't know, this is the interview, and you can see hands-on what's going down. Look, first of all, man, who influenced you in hip-hop that inspired you to be a DJ?
Inspired me? Well, I don't know. That's a tough question due to the fact that, you know, I was around when Kool Herc first laid turntables, you know, and started putting shit out. When I heard hip-hop, when I first heard the first dude, like, the hip, the hop, the hibbit, it was like, what is this? You know, before I was a big jazz music fan, I listened to Top 40 radio. Our DCAX was just coming out, and it was like, okay, you know, I'm just listening to music, and I'm getting absorbed, because I used to listen to a lot of white people's music. I'm not even gonna front. I used to, like I said, Top 40 stations was my shit.
Yeah.
So I listened to a lot of radio back then, and when I first heard it, when I first heard hip hop, I was like, yo, this is, you know, since I wasn't a singer, and I wasn't a dancer, I was like, yo, this is something I can relate to because it's spoken word over beats. And it was like, yo, I love this.
Yeah.
You know, I immediately fell in love with it.
Yeah.
And to be inspired to be a DJ, of course, the early DJs like Grandmaster Flash, Jam Master Jay. There's dudes here in Rochester that inspired me. There was dudes. I noticed that the dudes that rocked the parties was the people that got the most attention. You know, early on, because I was just getting into my teenage years. I seen DJ was getting all kinds of love. The person who was spinning the records, the one that was hyping the crowd up, that was the person I wanted to be. You know. Once I seen Jam Master Jay do his cut routine for Run DMC, it was over.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I want to be that dude.
Yeah.
That dude right there. I seen Grandmaster Flash on Wild Style while he was cooking eggs, do a routine where he was cutting and he was cooking eggs at the same time. I was like,
what?
I was like, yo, I gotta be that dude. And when I was in the Army, me and this, there was this other dude, I forgot his name now. He was a Hawaiian dude that I met in Hawaii. He bought his first turntable. First time I even laid eyes on a Tech, for real. A Technics 1200. And he was cutting so good on that. I mean, this Hawaiian dude, he was learning how to cut, and I was like, yo, I want to do that too. Started learning how to cut. From that, bought my first turntables while I was in the Army, came back to Rochester, and was like, yo, I gotta get on somewhere. You know, because I knew how to blend music. I knew how to pause mixtapes like a lot of early DJs did. And it was on since then.
That's when you started building your record collection and everything?
Yeah, that's when I started building my record collection from them, because a lot of the early hip hop was all on vinyl. You couldn't buy it on, you couldn't get it. It wasn't like the iPod days and stuff now, you know, where you could download it and all that. No, you had to go out and buy this shit. You had to go find it.
Yeah.
And since I was in the Army, I had access to a lot of dudes from LA, New York, where all the hot hip hop was coming from at that time. In fact, my best friend was a dude, RDR. I don't know if he still remembers me, my man Arthur. He put me on to a lot of hip hop from Brooklyn. And that's where, I mean, he was down with it because all the stuff that he got, he funneled to me. So a lot of early hip hop, Grandmaster Caz mixtapes, a lot of the old early DJ tapes was coming from him, Davey D and all that. Yo, he used to just hit me up. As soon as he got finished listening to him, hit me off. And it was like, yo, this dude, I gotta be a DJ. That's the best thing for
Well,
me.
you bring up a good point. we were talking about that, like, how do you feel about the change from, record sales in stores to record sales on the internet now?
Actually, it's natural progression. Before, I was kind of against the whole technology vibe because I always thought like being a DJ was pure. You'd have to have records. You'd have to be, one with the crowd. Because when you DJ, I mean, I've been a crowd-pleasing DJ, and I've been an internet DJ, and I've also been a radio DJ. All kinds of DJs as far as like the term goes. And when you're playing for a crowd, it's a different vibe. You're trying to figure out what the crowd is gonna respond to. Okay. When you're on the radio, though, you basically try to put people on to certain new records.
Okay.
As an internet DJ, I get to play what the hell I want.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like whatever I'm feeling, I play it. But with radio, you do requests. You try to measure what the audience is gonna check out, listen to. But as a DJ in a club, you're trying to make people dance.
Yeah.
You're trying to make them buy more liquor.
Yeah.
You're trying to get them excited for coming to this club.
Yeah.
Right? Now, as for the change between now and then, it's a little bit more weirder now because with the internet, people can just grab. I mean, Green Lantern said something that stuck with me about a year ago when he came back to Rochester, me and him chit-chatting, and he was like, well, Chris, there's no such thing as exclusives anymore. As soon as something dropped on the internet, everybody got it.
Yeah.
He said that's the worst thing that would happen to mixtape DJs. He said before you used to have K-Slay would get a little something, Clue would get something, we would get something, and we work with it. And we'd be the only people that would have it. But now, as soon as it comes out, boom.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, it pretty much, we thought it was going to be the death of vinyl. It's not. It just spreads it out to a lot more people that didn't want to go out to go buy it. They just snatch it from the internet. I mean, pre-sales is pretty good. Look at Beyonce's album.
Yeah.
Basically, she sold her album through iTunes, and boom, a lot of people snatched it from there. They didn't have to go to the store physically to go get it. They just got it off the internet.
Yeah. Well, like, what do you like better, having the show on the podcast now on the internet, or you like it better on the FM radio?
That's another hard question. I mean, there's nothing that can beat the feel of live radio. When you got people calling in, they're responding, they love what you're doing, they're calling in, they're interacting with you. But with the podcast, and this is something I've always wanted to do. Before, Straight from the Underground was never supposed to be 9 hours. When we did it back on 89.7. It was supposed to be a couple hours, and then the rest of the show was supposed to be recorded. We never got to that phase. We were supposed to record like 5 hours of the show, and then we just come and do our live parts, and we'd leave. We were supposed to leave and play the rest of the show, supposed to just play out. But we never got to that phase. Our engineer was always screwing around. So we was like, skip it. We'll just do the whole show live.
Yeah.
But as I did internet, as I'm doing the internet right now, I love the fact that I can just do it right now as a show. I can record it on Friday and then listen to it myself on Saturday. And then other people can listen to it during the week. There might be some people that don't have time on Saturday to listen to the show live. So they can listen to it anytime they want. Same thing with Sunday. Like the Rock Podcast, I'm down with them. RockPodcast.com, they air my show since I do 5 parts of Straight from the Underground, they do a show every day. So they put part 1 on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So it's like a new show every day for that week. And me recording it, basically, is just better for me because I can do it. I can knock it out on Friday. The rest of my week, I don't have to sit there and worry about trying to do a show. All I gotta do is promote it. And actually, it gives me a freedom to do what the hell I want. I mean, with regular radio, there was a line I can't cross. But on the internet, I can cross that line repeatedly. I can keep jumping back and forth over it. There's no standard on the internet. If people download the show, they know what they're getting. But if I was on regular radio, there's a lot of stuff I would have to cut back and not do. If I was doing live radio, I couldn't say certain words. I couldn't play certain stuff. You know, a lot of MCs send me their stuff unedited. I couldn't play all that if I was on the internet. If I wasn't on the internet, if I was doing a live show, I'd have to have.
You have to go by the FCC.
Have to go to FCC.
Well, do you miss getting up early in the morning and heading to the station?
I do miss it. I ain't gonna front. I'm telling you right now. There's certain times I wake up in the morning, I'm like, damn, I wish that my morning show was still back on, because if we was doing it in the morning, I know we'd be killing it right now.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, there was nothing. I mean, before when I first started doing it, I hated it because
Really?
I had to get up at 4 in the morning. People don't understand.
Yeah.
You do a morning show. Your morning show starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. I mean, you got to keep people entertained up until 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
So that's 5 hours. So
Mm-hmm.
I got to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, take a shower, drive into the show, and plus I got to figure out what records I was gonna play.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you, how, when you woke up and you got there at 4 in the morning, did you already have a certain lineup that you were gonna play, or was there a counter system that knew what was?
Since I was on since I was on Monday through Friday, it was even better for me to do it in a certain way, because it was like 2 or 3 records would stand out that I go home later on, listen to them, like, yo, those new records I just got today, you know, those got to start getting played tomorrow.
Yeah.
But there's certain records I already knew to play. And plus, like I said, this is the best thing about the interactive thing about doing morning radio. People would call in and be like, yo, can you play this? Can you play this? I mean, as soon as I walked into the radio station, even before I even got on the mic at 5 o'clock in the morning, people would already be lined up, ringing the phone already. I could see the phone going off. ITR had that system where they had like 8 lines at one time. So you see all the 8 lines lined up. Hello, this is Chris G. Yo, son, could you play that Wu-Tang Triumph again? And then the audience would suggest stuff for me, so I just go ahead and play it.
Did you ever get some crazy requests like, oh hell no, I'm not playing that, no way?
Nah, basically the audience understood. The audience was real good.
Yeah.
I mean, there was certain stuff they knew I couldn't play, but they wouldn't ask for it. They knew they knew the difference between Saturday night and the morning show. The morning show was FCC regulated. The Straight from Underground show on Saturday night, not so. You know, we can play after 10 o'clock. You can get away with pretty much playing a lot of, stuff. But on the morning show, we had to keep it clean because you got parents, kids, people at work listening. And a lot of people said there was no way a hip hop show. This is what I loved about doing the morning show. Everybody thought there was no way you could do a morning show with just hip hop and get away with it. I did that.
Yeah.
I was one of the first people that did that. There was no R&B mixed in.
And we missed that still. Like, wish it would come back.
It was
now.
a straight hip hop thing.
Yeah.
It was like it was the #1 show here in Rochester.
Yeah, that was when everybody turned off 104 and went straight to your show.
Of course, I'm not even gonna front. There was a lot of biting going on that happened later on after I was gone. But I had the first hip hop morning show, true hip hop morning show, pretty much in the country. And like I said, there was no R&B. There's no song, like we gotta play jazz or we gotta do this throwback or whatever. It was straight hip hop. And whatever was radio edited, we was running it.
Yeah.
And it didn't have to be a popular MC. It could be the most underground MC. As long as they had a radio edit, we played it.
Yeah.
But with Straight from Underground now, 2.0, pretty much anything that's dope to me, and I'm gonna say this right now for anybody out there that may be checking the show. Basically, if it's dope to me, I'm running it. It don't got nothing to do with like it's the hottest joint or it's this is hot down in Atlanta or whatever. If it's not hot to me as a DJ, Straight from Underground 2.0 is an extension of what I listen to, what I actually bump in my car at my house when I'm walking around with my iPod. This is the shit I actually listen to. So basically, everything I play on my show is an extension of what I like. And just so happens, the audience appreciates what I play.
Tell me this, man. Tell me about some of your experiences on FM radio with industry cats, because I didn't even know you had certain industry interviews with like Nas, Jay-Z. Tell me about some of the people you interviewed.
The best thing about doing Straight from Underground 2.0, the original show on ITR and RUR was the fact we ran into so many cats. There was so many cats coming up that you didn't even know they was gonna be famous before they got famous. Jay-Z, Nas, Busta Rhymes, Wu-Tang Clan, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre. You
You
know,
got to interview them?
I interviewed pretty much everybody that came out of the 90s I saw and met and talked to.
Oh.
Everybody got a chance to talk to me. Big L, Big Pun, Fat Joe, everybody that came out of the 90s if they came through Rochester or nearby, I talked to them.
Wow.
I kicked it with them. Busta Rhymes did a nice call in where he was like, yeah, you better play my shit. And I was like, yo, but son, you know, some of your stuff ain't pumping. Nah, Chris, you gotta be pumping mine.
Oh, yeah.
Mobb Deep. You know, if they came to Rakim, Nas, pretty much everybody that came through, even a couple of reggae cats. If they came through Rochester, I talked to them.
Yeah.
If they came through upstate New York, I was talking to them. And some of the dudes that didn't even, some of the dudes I went to New York to interview.
Oh,
Like
yeah?
Jay-Z, I met him inside his first Rockefeller, inside the first Rockefeller building. When they was just setting up, right after the first album came out.
Oh, wow.
You know, I got to meet Jay-Z on the rise, and then ran into him continuously 3 years more after that.
Yeah.
It was like every other party we went down to New York, we were running to Jay-Z, and Jay-Z be like, yo, you them cats from Rochester. You know, it's like, yo, he remembers us? Yo, that's cool enough.
That's what's up, man.
You know, we started to get a routine where dudes would start to look at us at parties like, yo, I know you dudes. You know, hey, yo, yeah, them cats from Rochester.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ev, back in the day when Ev used to be on the show, Ev was fearless. He just asked cats anything.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he just run up on them and just like he wouldn't be scared. You know, we asked cats like, you know, we'd have people like Green Lantern or radio DJs from DKX. They'd be afraid to ask certain questions, but we'd be the first ones like, yeah, you know. So what about that girl that said you knocked her off back in the, you know? And it's like, you just want to ask me about that, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, we've had weird encounters where one time Green Lantern brought K Solo to Rochester, and he needed a place for him to chill. He came over to my house when I was on Plymouth Avenue, and he was like, well, just don't, bother K Solo. I'm just gonna bring him up here. He's just gonna rest. He's got his weed. He's gonna chill. So he's sitting there rolling the doobie on my couch, and I'm like, so K Solo, what's up with this and blah blah blah. I mean, him just started chit chatting and talking.
Yeah.
And Green was sitting there like, I can't believe you just started talking to him. Like,
Yeah.
fuck that. This is my house.
You know what I'm saying?
Big L, we chill with him, walking up and down the Ryan Quay Mall.
Wow.
Me and Rhythm X. We chill with Big L when he was alive, when he came through Rochester.
Yeah.
Nas, we chill with him for half the day.
Yeah.
It was just like we never and the alcoholics when they came through Rochester, they was a Tribe Called Quest. We got drunk, me and my brother got drunk on their bus, drinking with them. We're sitting there drinking 40 ounces with them, like, getting tore up with Tash and them.
So they really were alcoholics.
Yeah, them dudes not lying.
That's
We
what's up, man.
was like, yo, them dudes is regular dudes just like us. They just we didn't look at them as stars. We looked at them as like, they out there trying to get it. They trying to do their thing. They just happen to have a couple of videos in which we was like, yo, we was famous here in our hood. So we was like, yo, they coming through our hood. So let's just chit chat and talk to them. And they liked us better since we didn't treat them like that. We looked at them as like everybody was like me and you talking.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. Well, tell me this, man. Who's your favorite out right now that you're listening to? Who's impressing you the most out of all the music you get flooded with? Who you might listen to?
There's like so many dudes. I mean, my style switched daily because certain dudes hit me with certain stuff. Like I like K Sparks. K Sparks is this young dude out of Brooklyn who's coming with I say a lot of people may not know him, but in New York they know him. Same thing with Blue Legacy. He's a dude out in New York that's kind of hot. There's a dude named people heard of Big Crit. Big Crit from down south. I think he's dope. Tito Lopez from down south. There's some dudes from the West Coast, lyricists. There's a dude named Bishop Lamont. That's just dope. John Connor from the Midwest. There's just so many. Joey Badass and the whole Pro Era movement. They've been hitting me with so much shit over the last week, and it's like so many new dudes that come out on a daily basis that I catch, and then there's the local dudes you got to catch up with. that actually has this dude named AC De Niro just hit me up, and I'm starting to like his stuff. There's a dude named Indian Boy. He was like, yo, Chris, you're gonna be listening to me. And I thought he was just talk, but when I heard him rhyming, it was even better. Dude named Jahazi from here in Rochester. He dope. You know, there's just so many MCs that catch. I mean, I listen to like damn near on a daily basis, except for maybe on my days off. I try to stay away from music, but on my days on, I listen to so much stuff. It's hard for me to sit there and say that's my favorite MC.
Yeah, because you be putting me on the stuff I don't even know about.
Right now, I would say my favorite MC that I would drop anything to listen to, two of them, Skyzoo and Terminology. You know, when they drop something, I'm quick to go buy it because they've proven to me over the last couple of years that they come out with quality material. So whenever I hear that they drop something, I run out and buy it. Rex, Torre. I mean, I buy on impulse, or I grab stuff for impulse. If I know that a certain MC has touched me in a certain way and I like what they said and spat and I like the way their production was the first time, I'll run out and buy it. Or I'll run out and snatch their stuff without even listening to it.
Yeah.
And Skyzoo and Terminology is one of the few MCs that if I hear them, it's like, wow, Raw the Rugged Man, Slain. There's mad white boys out there that's dope. I mean, this dude from here from Rochester, Golden, she's a female rapper. I know from listening to her over the last 2 years that whenever she comes out with something, it's gonna be dope. You know, same thing with Real, Scandalous, a couple cats. You know, it's just that, you know, when I hear them come out with quality material, I run out and fuck with it.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it, you know. I mean, they're not trying to do a trend or they're not trying to do something for the radio. They're just doing something true to themselves. And I listen to it and just be like, yo, this kind of hip hop I like to fuck with. There's no real favorite MC as far as I'm concerned.
Gotcha.
You know, it's just like, however, if you true to the art and you spitting raw rhymes and I feel that it's from your heart, that's what I'm fucking with.
Tell me this, what's the difference, would you say, is the difference between Straight from the Underground 2.0, your podcast, compared to other podcasts that are in the nation? I noticed you stay in the top 10 in the nation. What's the difference between your show and a lot of these other shows?
Well, number one, consistency. I come out with a show every week. I don't come out with a show like once every 2 weeks or once a month or something like that. That's what I think helped my podcast audience. And number two, I play new stuff continuously. And number three, I'm not playing the same stuff that you hear on the radio 24 hours a day. If they're like, take for example, if they're playing Jay-Z's, let's see, what's Jay-Z's song? Holy Grail. They're playing Holy Grail. I'm playing Beaches from that. Or I'm playing another cut that ain't getting no light from his album. You know, that's always been my way. If Jay-Z's getting played Hard Knock Life, I'm playing the premier produced joint on the album. I've always done that. If I'm playing Wu-Tang's Triumph and then finally radio finally catches on and start playing Triumph, it's time to switch it up to something else.
Yeah.
If they're playing Gucci Mane or this other person, I'm playing Troy Avenue or Terminology or something. I'm giving MCs that don't get the light. That's my audience. The MCs, the true MCs that's not getting the light that you hear the buffoonery on the radio. You can hear the whack dudes that be on the radio, the dudes that be like Versace, or Trinidad James or whatever, all that bull crap that's hot for now.
Yeah.
You know, I try to fuck with MCs that's gonna be around for 5 years from now that you remember their lyrics or you'll pick up the album and be like, yeah, that was a good ass album.
Yeah.
You know, not dudes that come out with one single and then they be hot and then they disappear and you don't know. You might see them on VH1's Where Are They Now shit 6 years later or something like that.
Yeah.
Or they'll be on Fitness Club like that dude Bone Crusher or some shit like that. You know, that's the difference between my show is I try to find real hip hop. I'm not trying to please females or try to get the drug dealer crowd and that. I'm trying to play pure hip hop. And that crowd out there, that's the crowd that I'm trying to get. That's the crowd that listens to my show. They're trying to listen to real hip hop. If you want to hear all the regular danceable stuff, listen to regular radio.
Yeah.
If you're trying to hear real hip hop, some core shit, listen to my show, Straight from Underground 2.0.